So a matchup that a lot of people wanted to see as the final will be taking place as a bronze final rather than a gold. That is Fiji versus New Zealand. These two sides have already played off in this competition. That was in the group stage in that contest. Fiji getting themselves the last minute win, but New Zealand want redemption. Fiji, they want to prove that they are still one of the top sides, build their momentum heading into the Olympics. And in this preview, we will be looking through at the previous fixtures, including that one where they did play each other, their key players to watch out for in this contest, and then at the end, a prediction of who we think will win the rematch of these two sides. First of all, Fiji. Their opening contest that was up against New Zealand, they were able to win it 28 points to 26. The difference between those two sides, Ioane Temba getting the kick over and New Zealand missing a conversion earlier on in that match. They also had to fight back from behind Fiji, and that is why they're such a dangerous side. You never know how many points you're going to need to beat a Fijian team. Normally a 3-try deficit should be enough, but we've even seen them fight back from a deficit like that. But New Zealand, they're going to need a lot of tries. I can tell you that right now for this matchup. The next match of the group stage was up against the Irish. They went to golden point time in that game, and Fiji able to win it 26 points to 21. Their next game not so close. That was up against the South Africans, winning it 26 points to 7. And then in the semi-final, they were up against the French. Antoine Dupont had an absolute blinder of a game and almost single-handedly caused France to win that contest. Fiji, they looked all right throughout that game. They were just lacking a little bit of territory, which is something they will certainly want to improve on heading into this game up against New Zealand. For New Zealand, of course, like I mentioned, their first game was a loss to the Fijians. Their next game, they were able to defeat the Blitzboks 33 points to 24. The game after that going to golden point time up against the Irish. So actually both of these sides going to golden point time up against Ireland, and both having success in winning at the end of those contests. And then in their semi-final, they were up against Argentina, and they lost 21 points to 14. The Fiji and New Zealand have had very similar paths throughout this competition because they both went to golden time up against the Irish, both getting themselves the win. They both lost their semi-finals, 21 points to 14. And in that game, we also saw the individual brilliance of Rodrigo Isgro, as well as a hat-trick for Graziano for Los Pumas. But both of these sides, they'll be determined to walk away with a victory here to close out the comp on a high, like I said earlier on, and get ready for the Olympic Games. But now looking through at key players. Fiji, you can't go past this man, Jerry Tuwai. I'm going to mention him in every single one of these key player videos because he is just such a key for Fiji. I believe since he's returned, they've looked a lot stronger. That game up against France was a little bit of an exception, but that was mainly due to the lack of possession and territory for Fiji. But Jerry Tuwai having a few assists, also scoring himself a few tries along the way as well. Taria Vailawa off the bench. I believe they actually probably need to start him in this next game and perhaps have Jerry Tuwai coming off the bench or some sort of other switch as an option. I just want to see Vailawa's pace early on in the game, and I feel like that could be quite a handy asset for this Fijian side. And then the last player to watch out for, I'm going with Ponipate Lognamasi. I've mentioned him a few times, more so earlier on in the competition. He hasn't completely lit the world on fire throughout this comp, but he's got a lot of potential to be able to have a big game for New Zealand. In terms of their key players, Leroy Carter, he is the first one. He has been very strong in the breakdown for New Zealand, as well as just showing off their out-and-out pace. I think that the veterans of this side, whether that to be a Dylan Collier or maybe a Sam Dixon, one of those two, really will need to step up for New Zealand, definitely because of that physicality that the Fijians can also bring to this bronze final. And then the last player to watch out for, I mentioned him last time. He didn't really have too much of a crack in the last couple games, but Akulia Rokali-Soa, I am going with him as the last man to watch out for in this game. But now we are up to that stage of a prediction for this contest. Fiji in great form, New Zealand in great form, both unlucky in their semi-finals, both want redemption. I think it's going to be a close game, and I'm going 21 points to 19 in favour of New Zealand. Only because last time I backed New Zealand, Fiji actually won. So there's a chance that could happen again, or it could be the other way around and maybe New Zealand do get the win and I get a prediction finally correct. But thank you all very much for tuning in. This game kicking off at 5:18 a.m. New Zealand time. We are going to be covering it on the channel with the commentary, so be sure to check that out. But thank you all very much for tuning in. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel, and I will see you all for the next one.